Asgard here, and it's time to talk about Lord of Mysteries episode 4. And I have to say, with this episode, they found a sequence for pacing. Now, will they be able to digest it and keep acting this way? I know, I'm playing a lot of words with this episode, but this one felt much better, at least for me, compared to the previous 3 episodes. Don't get me wrong, I still had fun with those, but we all know, like, everything felt rushed, just getting to the point, scene through scene through scene. Especially probably if you're a source material, you felt that even more. And even more being confused if you're new to the donga or anime, however you wanna call it here. But this episode actually got me into the world and the characters a lot more than the previous 3. Granted, I had some information thanks to the previous 3, but this one I felt like I could breathe, pay attention more. The build-up was even better to the fight, the climax of this episode, the introduction, the inner monologues of the characters, the implications here. I felt caring a lot more after this episode, so now I'm even more invested into this one. Now, will they be able to keep it up? I know they said they wanted to get to that clown fight here with the first 3 episodes just to get people hooked into this, but if the show started with this pacing, I feel it would have served it much better. Now I'm curious from episode 5 and so on if they're gonna be able to keep this up. But now let's get into this episode and see what happened here. Now, I liked how it started with this mysterious Oracle putting the screws on a character which you find later on is Vincent, and him begging for his life, one final chance to get this Antigonus family notebook for the Aurora Order here. And keep in mind, we have the Aurora Order. If you pause the episode, we get some information on them here, with them worshipping this true creator and apparently left behind this core existence, and all of them are crazy in a way. I'm paraphrasing a bit that paragraph there. Go back into the episode and read everything to quite interesting information. And I like some series that do this. You get some lore tidbits throughout the episode there, so it's very much worth it to read, and how they kind of see the world like just a step to godhood, and they have the secret suppliant pathway, which I hope we get some like an episode dedicated to all of the pathways, the powers, what exactly they entail, how they work. We got some snippets with this one, but I still have a lot of questions with the power system there. But yeah, Vincent does get one final chance when he says they still have Klein to use him to get the notebook here. But yeah, he's gonna eat his words. And the ending of the episode made me even more interested into the big mystery, so to say, with what's happening here. But probably my favorite part was we actually got to see Klein working on his powers a bit, learning, improving, figuring things out when he went to Neil, and Neil starts teaching him ritualistic magic. And instantly, even before they said it, made me think of the start of the series, how he made that ritual for luck. I feel like that has had much bigger implications than he previously thought for Klein here, and using spirituality, the wall to prevent outside interference there, and the warning from Neil, never communicate with the unknown when you make ritualistic magic. And maybe that luck ritual communicated with something unknown. Klein like, yeah, sure, of course, never. So I'm curious when they're gonna explain more how exactly that happened, and his gray fog powers here. And kind of like the way the ritualistic magic works, kind of works in mysterious ways, and Neil being serious there, the chanting, praying, and when he prays like, I need 30 pounds to pay off my debt. And like, wait, what? Is it gonna work? Is it actually gonna work? And yeah, it works, but I like in a roundabout way, and kind of works for everybody else. He finds a wallet on the ground, but like, okay, is he just gonna take the money, pay out the debt, and nobody gets wounded except the guy that lost the wallet? But no, he returns the wallet and gets the exact money for his debt as a reward. Like, okay, I like this magic. I'm gonna pray now. I need 500 subs, guys. I need 500 subs. There we go. Is it gonna happen? I don't know how to make a ritual properly, but make sure you like and subscribe. Get me to that 500 sub marks. I believe in you guys. But here we also have him Klein reaction was priceless there. I really like that quite a lot. And him slowly after this trying to acclimate to his powers, to figure out more what exactly it means, digestions of the potions, ritualistic magic, and how it means actually acting your powers out to acclimate to them even more. And this is why I really like this episode. Going through the process itself is very important. This is why I like training arcs in anime, because yes, the payoff is worth it when you get they train, they did this, they figure out themselves, not just getting the answer instantly. Yes, if you do this, it's gonna work out. That's why it's important to do things for yourself, to figure out the process, because you're gonna understand that even more here. But him trying to figure that out was great, and saying divination in combat counts as acting, so maybe that's why he digested the potion even more and slowly figuring things out. And he meets the Angelica from the divination club and kind of gets a curious divination. He won't make it back soon, but it's possible in a way, kind of referring, is it possible for him to get back on Earth to his real world. And then divination with glasses here, and he uses his spirit vision to see glasses after he was coughing, telling him to go visit a doctor and check his lungs especially. So that would be a really useful power to see when people are sick, where they are sick exactly here. So Seers, I really like the way they're able to see the world. You get a lot more information on how seer power works thanks to this process, and how important it is to see more things, allowing you to deduce things. And this is why Lord of Mystery, I'm really liking this one quite a lot. But I hope we get the same treatment from some of the other paths and powers here. And then he decides to join the club, even paying the entry fee. And Vincent, the character at the start, kind of following him throughout here, and even predicting that a seer would see come to the club here, and that one was Klein. But after this we see Vincent teaching some classes with mirror divinations there, and Klein sees that Vincent has some problems here. Probably saw the fingers that were lost, he sacrificed at the start of the episode there, and when Klein used the vision to look at him, and he sees something from the girl, like when she was passing, she got the gift, the mirror she got, Selena. They were going to the party there, and Elizabeth and Melissa, the three girls that got caught up into this incident, but he brushed it off. Now know it meant a bit more here. But after this, he also, the words he got from Glaciers, like the clues, self-suppression, self-limitation here, and Vincent, from Vincent, my bad, not Glasses there. And Vincent, we realize he's the guy from the start after we see his fingers fully. You can kind of see that a bit early, but you're not fully convinced until they show the fingers there, and him having to act as a Seers, use the fog powers to return home. Maybe it's gonna be possible. How he's gonna be able to do that? Find the clown potion. And here is where I like this, but I feel like I'm missing some implications for this one. Hopefully they're gonna explain it later on. Somebody that read the source material told me there's gonna be some things we're gonna miss because we don't have the culture things to find out. Maybe if you're from Asia, China, Korea, and so on, maybe you're gonna pick up some more things here. So I'm sorry if I'm missing some things when he said that King of Yellow and Black who wields luck. I'm sure there's a lot more to that, but if they're not gonna explain it yet, please don't spoiler it for me. We're gonna wait for the anime, and after that I'm gonna go through community and things like that, maybe what I missed and some things that I don't have knowledge of intrinsically, so to say. But I really like him making that ritual for himself there, and he gets a bit interrupted by Melissa. She made a turtle toy, but apparently for her is a human doll. I'm like, okay, she can definitely build gadgets, but I'm curious how she sees humans, if that's how a human looks for Melissa. But I liked, she was worried about Klein, she wanted to cheer him up, telling him to take a break. Nice nice sister brother moment there for them, and kind of pleading those eyes she made when we're going to Selena's birthday banquet, right. Cute moment there. And there's one more later in the episode, we're gonna get to that. That one was really fun also. But after this we have the gray fog meeting with the Hangman and Justice here, and I like how Klein kind of feels like a different person in a way when he's in the fog compared to his usual self when he's in the real world. Kind of feels this divine air to him, and he plays off of that, acting a bit more in the gray fog to keep his aura in a way there. But the gray fog meeting starts, and we have him actually using his vision to see the symbols they have behind them for spectator and sailor for both of them, and behind him I'm sure I'm missing a lot with the symbols. I'm sure somebody's gonna type in the comments, you didn't get this, you didn't understand the symbols. I know, I agree with you, I don't get it at the moment 100% with you, but I like how the Seers, and especially in the fog, he's able to see a lot more from others that have got their powers, and these two in particular here. And I like Justice having the 3 questions here. What should she do as a spectator? And then Hangman tells her, be detached, just observe. That's what you have to do as a spectator going on this pathway. Don't really get involved. And I've seen this concept a lot in comics, in anime, in TV shows, also in Fringe, if you guys saw that one, and so many other things. But I'm curious if the higher you go with these powers, are you gonna be able to interfere at some point? What does it mean just to observe? Can you do something like that? The more you observe, the more you learn about the world, or so on. I have a lot of questions. I could ramble on and on about this, but I liked that for her. And the second question, I didn't expect this one. I was like, okay, this one was a bit serious, like wanting to learn about her powers here. But before we get to the second, I almost forgot. When they're talking about the spectator, what exactly it means, and them talking to each other, Hangman and Justice, I like how Klein just decides to drop some knowledge in, like, from a position of authority there, the clues with digesting and acting, how to acclimate to your powers, helping them with what he learned, but of course him feeling a bit different. They're kind of talking like this god authority. I really like that moment quite a lot. In fact, felt so good, and I felt a bit the change in the voice, the atmosphere felt great in this gray fog meeting here. One of my favorite moments in the episode was this one. And after this we have the second question, and like I said, I didn't expect this one. She's like, what happens if an animal drinks sequence 9 potion? They either die, they are transformed into a monster, or maybe they become a beyonder. Like, okay, I hope the dog is fine. We're gonna get to that towards the end of the episode. There's an end credit scene, so if you haven't watched it, make sure you go back to watch it, and then come back here to the video, of course. But after this we have the third question, asking how to improve, how to fix her country, the issues that were happening there, and Klein suggests holding an exam, calling it the higher exam, to find knowledgeable people, capable people, but hold it for everybody, not just nobility, common people also, because it always happens. You're gonna have very capable people, but they don't get a chance to show their capabilities because of wrong perceptions and so on. And I like that. I'm curious if we're actually gonna get to see this exam and its ramifications here. But Klein definitely feels like this higher power to them, and he actually asks them to do some things to retrieve Roselle's Gustav diaries. And I like how Hangman's like, wait, how does he know their diaries? What can he actually interpret them? Like, I like how it kind of reminds me a bit of Overlord, the way everybody sees Heinz Vulgan, sees him like this higher existence, knowing anything and everything, but he's kind of bullshitting his way around. But no, I'm not saying Klein is bullshitting his way around, but he's discovering things as he's progressing there, learning, deducing, finding out more information. But when he finds out things, there's others that know less than him, and him being in that position, the way others can view him. And this can also be true in real life. more you know about from compared to somebody else, the more they can come to you for information, even if you're not the biggest expert, so to say. And I like that aspect for him. There's different layers for somebody having knowledge being so important here. And the other thing, tells them to try on Sunday ritualistic magic and pray for a good dream. And the prayer he gave them here, and I feel like I'm missing a lot of things here. The ritual he made for himself here, the 3-part honorific name. So if they don't fully explain it into the Dongwa, I'm gonna ask the community, maybe let me know in the comments later on if they don't fully explain it here. But I really like that, the grandeur it felt from it, and how the hagman saying, hey, the fool is an entity equal to the gods, so we must honor him as a god. We know how much the gods play a big role into this world, and kind of having those 3 parts honorific name viewed as a god, something very important here. But I like the Grey Fog meeting was great, best part of the episode. I even liked it a lot more than the fight. It felt like we're learning also, and the atmosphere was awesome here. But after this, he kind of goes for the clues that he got, spending a bit time with the family, Benson, Melissa. I like those small moments there, and then going to Selena's party. And here is where we see the ramification of what he asked. He hears the prayer from the hangman there, then the party starts. Elizabeth also knowing. I like the meeting between the girls there. Elizabeth knowing he's a seer, and the comment here, like, I didn't expect that one, but was really fun. Melissa is a fun character. She saw he was talking to Elizabeth and was like, okay, I want you and Benson to use this party as a chance to maybe find a girlfriend, think about marrying and so on. But she's just 16 years old, referring to Elizabeth. Perfect moment. I like that quite a lot here. But after this, get a bit serious with the girls using that mirror from Vincent, ritualistic magic, to find out when they're gonna meet their love, their dream knight in shining armor, so to say. And Klein senses something is going off, and he instantly goes to check out here. But Vincent was on the other side, so you kind of have a face-off. Vincent versus Klein with ritualistic magic, and the girls being caught in the middle there. And Selena kind of gets taken over by Vincent in a way, being transformed into a monster here, and received some problems, so to say, for Klein, and tries to attack him. They go on the fight. He kind of has the advantage. Vincent at the start tries to press him hard, even torturing him a bit with those vines and things that were coming into Klein. What is the notebook? What's happening? And saying you weren't supposed to get those Seers power. So I feel like Klein kind of disrupted the world and everybody involved here when he was transported here. So I have even more questions. He feels like he's kind of linchpin and also a stick in the wheel of everybody that has been happening so far and everything in the world there. And Justice chose the perfect moment to do the ritual, the prayer there for the fool, and kind of helps him center himself using the Grey Fog powers to escape a bit from Vincent. And Vincent actually was willing to sacrifice his arm into this fight for more power, and Klein is able to fight back there and starts praying to the goddess to help Selena here, and he wins. He's able to save the girls, but I like his decision after this. He was thinking throughout the episode, wouldn't it be better if, for acting, for improving the powers, to actually be honest with his family, tell them this? But making that sacrifice here is not worth it. He decides to protect his family, not get them involved into this world. And I like that a lot. Not just chase power at all costs, actually cherish your family, don't put them in danger. They don't have any reason to be so. Vincent lost here. I like the fight, was awesome, a lot more focused on ritualistic magic, not just physical fight. punching and sword and so on, kind of like how that clown fight was there. Maybe if they slow down the pacing a bit, the build up was better for this fight for me. We actually saw the beginning, the start and so on, connected to everything with this episode. That's why I like this episode a lot more here. But after Vincent lost, we see him scared shitless. We finally meet this mysterious Oracle that was talking to him at the start. Apparently it's Oracle 22, Mr. Z or Mr. Z, however you wanna pronounce it here. And let's just say Vincent won't be staring into a mirror anymore. He gets clapped hard here. We don't see the Oracle anymore after that. Klein and Dan at Vincent party, and Dan sees Vincent apartment there or house. Dan sees something, and those feathers, they're everywhere. I still don't know what those feathers are with everything, and kind of gets a vision or a dream, I don't know exactly what, but he's able to see the true creator, you know, or at least I'm assuming that's the true creator, or what exactly it is. You see this upside down chained entity with a big eye. I'm like, damn, okay, this looks cool as fuck. I have a lot more questions. I'm even more invested right now. I'm really liking this true entity, true creator. What exactly is it? What exactly does it mean? And the Order wanting to return it. Like, so many things are connected and interconnected together, and I have some answers, but then I'm getting a million more questions. But after this episode, I'm liking the world a lot more here, and that looked very intriguing. But like I said, we also have a end credit scene. We see Justice in her house. They're very sleepy, wanting to sleep a bit more in, but of course she's a rich lady. She has maids everywhere, having to get ready there, and we finally see the dog. And I like the dance. She went in for some spins there, and the dog was getting dizzy. I'm like, I'm getting dizzy. Wait, can you talk? Well, yeah, sort of. Since when? I'm just a dog. I'm like, okay, I hope we get to see more of the dog. And better. I don't want to have a Jojo. I don't need dogs to die. Don't do this. Susie needs to be protected here. But yeah, probably ramble way too much. I'm sure I missed some things. I'm 100% sure of that. But this episode got me even more into the world, the characters, and I hope they keep this pacing and build up for things to come, because it seems like one of the most interesting worlds so far here. And if they do it justice, first gonna be a great thing. But the first 3 episodes definitely, like, don't get me wrong, I like them, but damn, scene after scene, this one felt much better. But now I'm really curious for you guys. If you're Dongo only, how did you feel so far, especially with this episode? And if you have read the source material on the other side, let me know how is the pacing right now compared to the first 3, and of course compared to the source material. So I want to see more comments from you guys. And if I missed something here, and if it hasn't been shown yet, don't go into spoilers, please, for my sake and for everybody else's sake, even though it's so hard for me to control myself, not just go read the source material or go into a wiki, get an answer and so on. Weird spoilers don't bother me, but for videos and for things I'm new to, I'm trying so hard to control not going into spoilers. It's insane, you guys. I have no idea how hard this is for me. I'm exactly the opposite of everybody else. But anyway, remember my ritual. I need you guys to subscribe, to like, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Keep enjoying Lord of Mysteries. I'm gonna see you again on the next one. Bye bye.